Hey, welcome to Thailand. I'm in Chiang Mai, and this is Miranda's Insight number 7. And today's topic is called Feel the Feeling and Let It Go. And so I'd like to just go on and continue with this subject of the Buddhist dependent origination topic. Where it's the wheel of suffering and freedom from suffering. Everything in life is in constant flux. As you can see, everything around me is in constant flux. People are talking, children are excited, birds are chirping, flowers are growing, the water is moving. Everything is in constant flux. There's nothing in life that stops changing. It's always changing. And this is a reality. And the more we understand this, the less suffering we'll have, and the more we're able to allow life to be the way it is, the less suffering we have. So I thought we could just choose an example and see how we can free ourselves from where we normally would suffer in this wheel. So let's say you are sitting in a park like this and you're with life. Or you are sitting in a cafe, and there's lots of life in cafes, or anywhere else in life. You're sitting, and you open up your phone, and you start to scroll down through your emails, and you open up an email, and an email is from somebody, maybe somebody close, whoever. And as you're reading it, your mind, so your senses are in contact with the words in the email, and you're reading and interpreting the meaning of the email. So this is contact, eyes, mind, making an interpretation. And usually, immediately, there's a feeling that comes with this contact. Now, if you're really, really sharp and you're slow everything down, you might be able to catch it before the feeling comes. And that would be just that whatever you're reading is part of life. There's nothing to change. You are full acceptance of everything that is. Whatever that person is saying, they're saying it because they're saying it. It has nothing to do with me really personally, and I don't have to interpret in any negative or positive way. That would be the wise thing to do if you want to stay free. But if you don't want to stay free, you don't have to do that. And you can continue to go on with allowing the feeling to arise. So say if they're saying something really positive, you can start to identify with the meaning that you are reading. Now, when you identify, what's happening is you're forming your sense of self in this. So, and once you have a sense of self, then it's getting thicker and heavier and denser, and that's when suffering happens with identification. So you can identify with the pleasant thing. So let's say you choose to identify with something pleasant that they said. So there you are. You're identifying with it. Now, what happens is, as soon as you identify, you start to grasp, cling, want more, desire. It's all starting to come up because you want more of what you're experiencing right now. Now, the problem with that, even though it's a pleasant experience, the problem with grasping and clinging and wanting. Now, if you didn't cling and grasp and desire and want, the feeling would be just fine the way it is. You can have that experience, and if you didn't attach, then you won't suffer. But the moment you start to go into attaching, clinging, desiring, hankering, that's when the suffering will happen. And you'll start to want more. Now, the problem is you'll want, but life is such that it doesn't always live up to your expectation. So you'll be wanting something, but life has another agenda on the go. And it's not going to go your way. And trust me, it's not. It's very rare that it will. And even if it did, it's not the way you really want it. So we're better off, if we want to be free of suffering, to not identify. Okay. So because it's going to turn out different than the way you want it, and then you're going to suffer. So you already set yourself up for suffering. Okay, let's say you have decided to suffer, and you don't like what that person is saying in the email. If you don't like what they're saying, then you can suffer this way. You can shorten your breath. You can identify, let that identification grow stronger, get more attached and identified, and then you can go into resisting and rejecting, not liking what you hear that person say. And then that in itself is a denial of the way life is showing up for you. Now, you could not suffer by simply just, again, same thing as before. Let's say that person is just saying what they're saying. It has nothing to do with me. This is their opinion. I'm me. They don't know me. I am who I am. Nobody knows exactly who I am. So that's a definite way to stay free of the suffering before the feeling comes. But if the feeling comes, then you can go with the feeling and start to reject and resist, and then allow your mind, so you're starting to grow a sense of self. You can let your mind make a bigger meaning out of it, and then get into I'm right, and they're wrong, and get righteous about it. You can feed this negative feeling that you have inside of yourself, and guaranteed you will suffer some more. And that's the recipe for suffering. All right, let's say you don't want to suffer. Okay, so let's take the same scenario, and we're not going to suffer now. So there you are, you're reading the email, and it's something pleasant. What you do is you put the email aside, you turn it off, give yourself some distance from what you're reading, and say you already have a feeling, like you missed that point of putting it down. Now the feeling is there. Now let's say it's a pleasant experience. So yeah, that person's really, really said something really nice, and I have this warm, fuzzy feeling, or I like to have some more of that feeling. What else should I do about that feeling? So you got that thing. So you can feed the feeling. Now, in order to not suffer, what you do is you don't feed the feeling and you don't resist the feeling. You don't try to manipulate the feeling. What you do is you become the watcher. You become the observer. You step back, have a look at the feeling. So, there you are in the middle of a pleasant, comfortable, yummy feeling. Now let it come into your body, let it move through your body. You are not your feelings, you are not your mind, you're not your sensations, you're not your body. You're the observer of the feeling, and this is all nature happening. Nature is happening right now. But you're the observer, you're detached from it just enough, even though you can allow yourself to have the full feeling, but you're not identifying with it. You're observing it. There's a difference. Identification means you're going towards the feeling and clinging or resisting, or observing just means that there's a bit of a distance, but you're able to fully be in the whole presence of it, but not get sticky, gluey. So now you're observing this feeling and watching life go through its flux and not getting stuck anywhere along that, with your long breath in and your long breath out. And then you are now in harmony with the way life is, as opposed to you trying to manipulate, hanker, desire, cling. So that's a pleasant feeling. Now let's go on to the unpleasant feeling, and this is the one a lot of people try to manipulate even more so. So let's say that what that person said was uncomfortable for you. You didn't like it. And you're resisting what that person said. And so now you're going into this uncomfortable contraction in your body. You're feeling resistance. You don't like what they said. And you're probably going into, I'm right and they're wrong and you're being righteous. Let's say something like that's happening. So your sense of self is growing really, really strong. You're feeling it tremendously. And you want to manipulate that feeling because you don't like it. Okay, so the first thing you do, if you don't want to suffer, is you put that email down, create some distance, take a deep breath in, and take a deep breath out, and bring your attention back to the feeling and let it move through your body like life moves through life. Everything goes through a process, but you're the observer. You're observing the feeling move through your body, through your mind, through your senses, but you are not reacting to it. You're not thinking you have to do something about it. You're allowing life to be the way life is, in the form of this feeling, in the form of this sensation. And then relax into it. Remain the observer and identify as life as opposed to I must change the way this is. And that's it. This is the recipe for non-suffering. And then once that feeling passes through your body, there's going to be another feeling, or there's going to be something else. So your attention doesn't fixate on it. What happens is you just pull back and fixate more on, I'm just going to watch this. Let this flood through my body, be fully present to the experience, fully feel it, and then let it go naturally as life lets everything go. So there's no stickiness in this. All right, so that's the recipe for how to stay free in the midst of this wheel of life called suffering. And you don't have to suffer. You can stay free. So bye for now, and see you in the next video.